Hey, buddy, eyes up here, up here. Yes, yes, you would never guess that it's over 100 degrees outside. You would think it was 15 below zero because, my God, talk about the shrinkage. Normally, you guys are used to seeing my big ass head take up the whole screen, but here I am trying to offer you visual assistance so you can see what I'm reading for a change, just like everybody else. Well, listen, guys, right about now, it is hot outside, and I'm asking, where is ice when you need it? Yes, I'm talking about ice cubes. Okay. We're not talking about the ice that's got everybody in fear. But I do want to talk about what's been going on with Pedro Pascal and also Diego Luna and why they have the ability to just spout off whatever they want to talk about, yet some people get canceled. What's up with that, guys? Let's talk about it. This is the gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. I hope all is well with you. And yes, you see the screen right here in front of your face. Your face. We are talking about Andor star Diego Luna, and apparently he has just slammed Donald Trump, and he champions immigrants in Kimmel monologue. Yes, he was a guest host on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I think they might have found the one person who has got even less personality than Jimmy Kimmel. It is appropriate after all. And it says here, this was in Variety, as you can see, Andor star Diego Luna slams Trump and champions immigrants in Kimmel monologue. It is not acceptable to separate families, he says. Okay, so he's going there. He's using that old, why do you want to separate families? It's just wrong. It's evil. It's so mean, he says. But I mean, I think we all know if families or the heads of families don't want to be separated, well, then they have the option to join hands and over the river and through the woods to our mother country we go. Just take your families and go back. Because after all, we're not talking about immigrants. Immigrants obviously are welcome here. I married an immigrant. We're divorced now, but we're the best of friends. Doesn't matter. I married an immigrant, but guess what? She is a legal immigrant. See, that's the part they miss. But let's get into what Diego had to say, who must be feeling really good about himself because he's just coming off of a very successful Andor season 2. So I guess that makes him feel like he can get on top of the mountaintop and just tell everybody what he thinks and how he feels and what we should do. So Andor star Diego Luna debuted as a guest host for Jimmy Kimmel Live Monday night and gave an impassioned speech about immigrants amid President Trump's increased ICE raids across the country. And he starts off by saying, tonight I want to address an important issue that is happening here in Los Angeles and all around the United States, he said Monday night, which was his first time hosting a late night talk show. Congratulations to you, Diego. This is your very first time, and this is what you chose to do with your platform. You did as you feel. With everything going on in this country around immigration and authoritarian policies of Donald Trump, it is no small thing that a Mexican is hosting such an important show. It is a big deal. I really hope not to fuck it up, he said. And then he goes on to proceed to fuck it up because he goes on to say a few things. But we're going to skip down to where he says here, I have never been able to fully understand how it is that someone like Donald Trump is able to acquire this level of power. Okay, he can't understand how it is that someone like Donald Trump is able to acquire this level of power. Well, Diego, and anybody out there who might be saying, yeah, I've been wondering that too. Here in the United States, we have a thing called elections. And usually people come into power through those elections because the citizens, the legal citizens, that includes legal immigrants who have become citizens, get to vote. And it seems like people voted in the majority for Donald Trump. So That's kind of how it happened, Diego. It's called the American process. It's actually a beautiful thing. Even if you don't agree with it, you should respect it. After all, that's the reason why you and other legal immigrants come here, because you want to partake in the American process. But it can't always go your way. You got to dry your eyes. You cannot continue to cry like a bitch for 4 years. You should raise up a good candidate that you do believe in, and that you do feel could do a good job, that can realistically win the election, not Kamala Harris. That was a joke. And run that person like Seabiscuit. So it says here, I always struggle to understand how his hate speech can take root in a community whose nature has always been a welcoming one. He says a country whose nature has always been a welcoming one. Okay, so the country, the nature of the country has always been welcome, right? So considering that former President Barack Obama also threw people out of the country in great numbers. He did it more than any. What did they used to call him? The deporter in chief or something like that? Considering that Bush talked about this, that Clinton talked about this, this is just kind of the way it goes. You can't have open borders, my friend. The country is indeed welcoming. That's the reason why the Statue of Liberty stands there talking about, give me your poor, you're hungry, you're broke, all of that stuff. That's the reason why. But you have to do it legally. And that's the part that I find to be disingenuous about all of these people. They use the term immigrants and they conflate it with being undocumented, with being illegal. They're not the same. Nobody stood up and said, we're against immigration, as far as I know. But what people are saying is you have to do it legally. Once again, I said that I married into a family from Guyana in Brazil. They were, Guyanese Brazilian. And they very strongly believe that you have to do things the right way. And as a matter of fact, most immigrants that I know say the same thing. I'm talking about legal immigrants, legal residents. They all say the same thing. I did it the legal way. Why can't they? I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer. He says, today, many people are feeling persecuted. Far too many people live in fear of taking their kids to school or going to places where they earn an honest living. These people, they're your neighbors, they're your friends, immigrants. This is very unfair, and let me tell you why. The multiple times that this country has had to rebuild itself, immigrants were always there to pick up the slack. Earlier this year, when LA burned, immigrant workers risked their lives to stop the flames, he said. Okay, good. Then let them do it the right way. That's all I'm saying. But Diego Luna took this opportunity, first time hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live, to get out there and start preaching. And of course, I'm sure, I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel Live because to me, he's lame as fuck, right? But I'm sure, without even watching it, it went over to a loud round of applause. Just like those cackling hens on The View. Anything they say, you're right, Whoopi. You're right, Sonny. No, sometimes things take thought. All right. If we're going to govern this country the right way, then there are certain protocols, there are certain procedures that you have to respect. You just can't come through the front door. To me, it's just as simple as where you live. Do you just open up the front door and say, anybody's welcome to come in any time of the day or night? Is the answer yes? Well, then I understand your position and you're full of shit. But if the answer is no, which any sane person would say, that it's not that hard to understand. So Diego Luna, please take a seat. But the question is, why does he get to say these things? Why does he get to say such inflammatory things when the country did majority vote for Donald Trump? You would think that if anybody would get canceled, and I'm not calling for it, you would think you would see him get canceled for saying such a thing. But no, because the media seems to be run by these psychopaths that dictate thought and thought control. So those people who get to clap like seals and get to applaud and, back this guy up and everything like that, they feel safe in having him do this. And they never do realize, or they don't see the offness, the imbalance of the very right that we have to think. You know, certain people are not allowed to say certain things. Gina Carano, for example, you were thinking it, I'm saying it, right? So you have that over there. But real quick, I want to switch over to Pedro Pascal, right? Because we have this dude over here calling out J.K. Rowling, right? Now, J.K. Rowling, apparently she's got issues and she's spoken out against trans people, okay? Can't imagine why. But Pedro Pascal, I believe he's got a trans sister, so he feels the need to come on out in public and condemn J.K. Rowling every time he gets a chance. And he can do this. Once again, this guy is everywhere. He's going to be somebody's Mr. Fantastic. He's not my Mr. Fantastic, but he's going to be in the new Fantastic Four First Steps movie. You know, he is the Mandalorian. He is the Last of Us. He's in just about everything. As a matter of fact, if Pedro Pascal is not in your movie, why even bother to make the movie? I think he's going to be James Bond. I think he's going to be, I don't know, Goldilocks. I mean, he's in everything, right? So it says here, Pedro Pascal called out J.K. Rowling's heinous loser behavior over anti-trans law because bullies make me effing sick. I want to protect the people I love, he says. So anyway, so he's going at this person. Pascal's youngest sister, Lux, came out as transgender in 2021. The actor made headlines in late April for slamming Rowling's heinous loser behavior after she celebrated the UK Supreme Court's anti-trans ruling that transgender women are not legally considered women and transgender men are not legally considered men. Legally is the key word with all of this. We're talking about, are you a legal resident, right? Are you a legal woman if you weren't born a woman? Are you a legal man if you weren't born a man? I say, fuck that bullshit. You are not. Listen, if you want to consider yourself that, if you want to dress up, if you want to do all of that stuff, by all means, you go on and indulge yourself, but you're not gonna force me to look you in the face knowing that you were born a man and call you a woman, because that would make me batshit crazy, and I am not. And I'm not gonna teach my son to be that either. I'm sorry. I will identify you as a transgender woman. I'll identify you as a transgender man, but I am not going to identify you as a man if you were not born a man, or a woman if you were not born a woman. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but it's hurting my feelings. It's hurting my sensibilities to be forcing me to do such a thing, and to make that, of all things, to make that illegal, to rightfully point out that a man who was born a man is a man. He's a transgender woman, if that's what he wants to be. All right. But to make it a matter of legality is where I have a problem, right? But Pedro, because this is the popular wave in our popular media, gets to say these things, right? You would say he's entitled to his opinion, and I would say that too. I would not take away somebody's opinion. But the question is, why would you take away somebody's livelihood for their opinion that is against the popular media's opinion? And that's what we're seeing, right? It's not politically correct for me to say the things that I'm saying right now, but it's my point of view. This is the gospel according to me, right? I'm broadcasting myself, but for some reason, this is the way it's set up. Pedro Pascal can say whatever he wants. Diego Luna can say whatever he wants, as long as you're towing the line of the popular media. And I got a problem with that, because we are in a country where we have the right to free speech. That right to free speech normally should follow your right to free thought. Okay? I know a lot of people, they talk without thinking. I would hope that most of us would kind of push back against that. You know what I mean? But if you attack somebody's right to free speech, then you are attacking their right to free thought. That is a very scary thing. This is the reason why I do what I do, and a lot of us that are on this platform, because we're tired of other people speaking for us, because normally they're doing it falsely. They're doing it based on false pretenses. You know, the Black community at this point, we've been manipulated so bad that people want to float this idea of Black fatigue. People are fucking tired of Black people because we've been misrepresented so bad, which is the reason why I talk the way that I do. All right. Unfortunately, get low numbers, but I keep talking, man, because it is actually important. But anyway, guys, there it is. You have statements from Diego Luna, statements from Pedro Pascal, and it's fire at will for them. They can say whatever they want. They can go against the president. They can go against anything, you know? But if you go the other way around, how dare you? We're going to boycott you. We're going to make sure you never work in this town again. We're going to strike your channel. Come on, guys. Is that really the world that we want to live in? I think not. But you can get in the comment section and let me know how you feel about this, about what they have to say. As always, you can like, you can share, and you can subscribe. And of course, if you want to, you can contribute to the channel through the Super Thanks feature in each and every one of my videos. Guys, thank you for listening. And I hope this stuff made sense. I hope that it actually goes through. This is my first time trying it this way. This is the gospel, according to Mark with a C.